The next very useful app we're going to explore here in Windows 8.1 is the Calendar app. If you need to keep track of things that have been scheduled, invite people, set reminders, you can do it all from the Calendar app, and you can do it with your default login account that you're using for Windows 8.1, but you can add additional accounts, just as we did in the previous movie with the Mail app. So let's explore it now. Find your calendar tile, which typically displays some up-to-date information, such as the date. When you click it, you're going to be looking at the default view for your calendar using the account that you've logged into Windows 8.1 with. Now, if you haven't logged in, you'll have some setup to do first before you can follow along with me. So as you can see, I'm looking at today's date in the top left corner, and then down below, things that are coming up. We call this the What's Next view, and we can change views quite easily. One option is to go up to the ellipses that appears at the very top right-hand corner and click there. You can also use the Windows key plus Z to get what we see now, the different views across the top. There's the What's Next view, but we can also look at the current day, the work week, the entire week, or the entire month from here. Down at the bottom, we can sync up our calendars. This is a manual sync, so we don't have to wait for the app to do it. We can go to the background. Notice Control B is a shortcut, so if you want to change that background, it's a great option. And we can create new events from here as well. But let's just focus on the different views. We've already seen the What's Next view. Let's go to the day view. Now we're looking at today and anything that's been scheduled, and of course we can schedule from here as well. On the right-hand side, we can look at tomorrow. Let's right-click anywhere on the calendar to get that same set of options up on our screen and switch our view to the work week. Notice it's Monday to Friday. Right-click and choose week, and you'll see Saturday and Sunday in there as well. And lastly, we'll right-click and go to the monthly view. I like to work in this view. It gives me a nice overview of what's happening in the month. Not much going on right now. But if we want to set something up, all we have to do is click in an actual square representing the date where we want to create that event. So I'm thinking let's move up to the top right corner. You'll see navigation buttons for moving ahead or back on the other side of your calendar. We'll go ahead 1 month. I can see a couple of things that are scheduled there for me automatically. Those are holidays. And if I wanted to set something up on the 17th, all I have to do is click. I'm going to type in lunch and learn. And when I press return, it's in there. Not many details, obviously, but if I want to add details, I can go back to an event, just give it a click, and notice the date is there. The start time needs to be adjusted because it's an all-day event. Doesn't make sense for a lunch and learn. And I can add additional details. So lunch and learn over here, I can add a quick message just as a reminder. I'm going to type in 1 hour courses at lunchtime on a variety of topics. Okay, over here on the left-hand side, it's not going to be an all-day event, so I'm going to click the drop-down and change it to a 1 hour event. Those are the presets, but you can use custom if it's not on the list. It's going to begin at noon hour, so 12 is good, but I think we need to change it from AM to PM. Where? Let's say these are held every day in conference room B. We could invite people from here. Again, we could use the contacts list we're accustomed to using with the Mail app. We can type in email addresses, and we can get more options by clicking Show More. Now, this is going to be an ongoing event, a monthly event, so instead of how often set to once, we'll click the drop-down and set it to every month. We can set an end date, so it does actually end, let's say, at the end of next year. So the end date, you can see, appears here as the same day as the start date, but I'm going to move ahead by using the navigation arrows all the way to the end of 2014. There we go. A reminder can be sent out by default 18 hours ahead of time. I'm thinking I'd rather have one just an hour before, reminding me I have a lunch and learn. My status is going to appear as free by default. I want people looking at my calendar not to see what I'm doing, but just to see that I'm busy. That's why I'm going to mark it as private as well. So it'll just appear busy. They won't know doing what. All I have to do is save this up now by clicking the Save button that appears up here in the top right-hand corner, or use the keyboard shortcut Control-S. It's now saved into my calendar. You can see it there at noon, and I can go back to it at any time with a click. I can also access the settings for my calendar if I wanted to add additional accounts. I'm going to use the keyboard shortcut. You could also use the top or bottom right-hand corners, hot corners, to access settings. I like the Windows key plus I to get there quickly. And you can see, just like we did with our Mail app, we could add accounts or access existing accounts from here. There's my Hotmail account. The accounts you can add, though, are a little bit more limited than the Mail app. Outlook or Exchange accounts can be added. I'm going to go back. Back one more time to settings. This time, let's go to options. We have some options here for how things appear in our calendar. Notice that I have, for example, some of the holidays showing up in this raspberry color. If I wanted to change that, I could. I'm going to choose something different. I'm going to go with lime. And it's updated automatically. The birthday calendar, you can see I can have items showing up in purple representing birthdays. These are great as a reminder, and you can set reminders days or weeks in advance. I'm going to go up to my calendar, though, and change what I'm seeing from this blue color to something brighter like this green color. There we go. Those are some of the options we can adjust when looking at our calendar. Let's just click anywhere in the calendar itself, right-click. That's another way to get up the options. We could change to what's next, for example. And now when we right-click, we can do things like change the background. You can see default, or I can browse. So if I had an image that I wanted to use, such as the images that appear in my exercise files, I could use any one of these. Choose picture. Takes a moment, and I'm done. And that's a quick introduction to the Calendar app here in Windows 8.1.